I want to start with the symptoms and the reporting. There's some primary symptoms to the illness. And as much as it's televised, as much as it's broadcast, I'm finding people that still are a little unstable. Okay? So I want to ask, what's your name? Ronnie? Give me one symptom of the illness.
Fever.
What's that?
Fever.
Fever. Noah, can you step over here and hold this? And I'll make sure to stay in the view of the camera.
Sure.
All right? Sir, give me another one.
Cough.
Yeah. Now look it. There's something I want to point out on the cough. Coughing's normal. At some point in time, you're going to cough. There's nothing wrong with coughing. The cough for the person who's suffering the COVID-19, it's extremely dry, very dry, and it does not stop at all. In fact, what I'm understanding is your throat is so dry, it's like torn. There's a possibility blood. It's very, very painful. It's so dry. So keep that in mind. Just because you cough doesn't mean you have COVID-19. However, you're coughing, it will not stop, and your throat feels like it's ripping, something's wrong. It could be the virus, it could be something else, but definitely something's wrong. Am I making sense? Everybody clear? If I say something that doesn't sound right to you based on what you understand, please speak so we can engage with one another. This subject's really interesting. The doctors are not even sure in some cases. They don't have a firm foundation on some aspects. So I don't mind to discuss with you at all. Give me another symptom.
Sore throat.
Yeah? Sir?
Respiratory.
Oh, nice. The short breath. Sir?
Tiredness.
Yeah, the fatigue. I'm going to stop right there because we're running out of room. There's a few more symptoms. But I want to point something out to you with regard to the fatigue. Why do you feel fatigue? Why would the person suffering the COVID-19 feel fatigue? And look at what we wrote right here. The answer's right before you. What's your name? Gabe? Gomez, what do you think? Why does the person who's suffering the COVID-19, they feel fatigue, not tired, fatigue?
It's attacking your body.
The respiratory, it's attacking the lungs. See, when you inhale oxygen molecules that are in the ambient air, they'll find a home inside your lungs. There's these little holes called alveoli. Your lungs look like a sponge to wash dishes. And all of the little holes are the house for the oxygen. The virus has the ability to cover the holes. And it grows really fast in the lungs. It's a respiratory illness. So, over a short period of time, your ability to breathe, it becomes complicated. You have difficulty. Instead of having the ability to just fill up your volume, ability to inhale, it's been reduced, and it's because the virus covers over the alveoli. So with that being said, when you don't have enough oxygen in your body, there's definitely going to be some fatigue. That's the fuel. When you got good oxygen levels, you're feeling pretty good. Plus two, another issue is the fever. What's the temperature where an employer makes a decision, or you make the decision, I shouldn't go to work? Just that one item alone, the temperature, what is it? What's this gentleman's name behind the lady? Pull that mask down real quick so I can hear you. Jonathan, what's the temperature? What do you think? At what temperature you're at home, you're doing a self screen, you're getting ready for work, you're dressing, and you sense, I don't feel good. Something's not right. And you feel warm. So you take your own temperature, you get a thermometer, you put it under your tongue. What would be the reading on that thermometer where you know I should call JD? Say that. Drop that one more time. That mask real quick so I can hear you.
Over like maybe high 90s.
Over 90?
Higher 90s.
Higher than 90? What's the normal body temperature? What's this lady's name? Susanna? What's the normal body temperature? Everybody right here, right around the average. The whole planet, actually. 98. Yeah, but I've been clocking in at 97. Kind of cold. If you're at 90, 92, you're like this. At 90, 92, 93, 94, you're like that. This machine is built for 98. That's interesting. When you get to 100.4, how high? 100.4. That's considered the fever. Okay, that's the Center for Disease Control, our nation's agency for diseases, called CDC. According to the CDC, at 100.4, that would be considered the fever, and it's best to stay home. All right? Now, I want to point something out on these symptoms, because pretty serious. That would be tough to work with a combination of these symptoms. And that's the key word, a combination. The individual who's suffering the COVID-19, it's not just one or two symptoms that they're suffering. It's a combination. Does that make sense to everybody? In the back too? Just nod your head, yeah. How about that gentleman behind the tree? He's awake? Yeah, we go. I see some movement. Don't fall asleep. Pay attention. I'm only covering the subjects where there's most errors. So I want to make this interesting. These subjects here, there seems to be mistakes people are making, and it's becoming kind of common. I wonder if that's a contributing factor to the caseload, to the rate of infection. Does that make sense to you? People making mistakes right here that could possibly contribute to the rate of infection? Carlos? That's your name? Right there by the tree? Carlos? Am I making sense with that? Okay, cool. This subject's kind of confusing, and I'm trying to make sense of it. So that way it's easier for me to stay healthy and also to give good information. If you're not breathing right, you got a respiratory problem, you're definitely going to feel fatigue because you don't have enough oxygen in your blood. You don't have enough oxygen into your brain. Not to mention, you got the fever. And there's one other thing. When your body doesn't have enough oxygen in its blood, what happens to the skin? When you don't have enough oxygen in your blood, you're not breathing right, what happens to your skin? You're going to turn color. What color do you think?
Yellow.
What color?
Yellow.
Pale. It's possible a little bit blue. Look at Susanna taking notes. I love it. Yeah, this is interesting. Now still, it doesn't mean because you have these symptoms, it doesn't mean that you have COVID-19. You could have something else. But what should you do in the morning when you're getting ready for work and you got a combination of symptoms? What would be the first thing in your mind? What's the gentleman's name right here? I can't see that far. Carlos, what do you think? You got a combination of symptoms. And really, it doesn't mean you got COVID-19, man. There's all kind of things on our planet that can affect the body, and we have the ability to overcome. It's called resilience. But you do feel not well, for sure. And the first thing into your mind, what is it? Carlos, answer me, please. Help me out. Yeah, And the first thing in your mind is, call who? Who are you going to call? Yeah, call the supervisor. Who are you going to call? Who are you guys going to call? JD. Who are you going to call? Everybody, who are you going to call? JD. Who are you going to call? Everybody answer me. Who are you going to call? Talk to me. Who are you going to call? This guy right here. You right here. Who are you going to call? Yeah. This seems, God, it's got to be in the top 10 errors that employees are making. It's got to be in the top 10. I've already come across a few people who are at work and they don't feel well. And because of the meetings, what I do, they come to me, hey, Armando, how you doing? What's going on? I'm going to do a meeting today. Hey, can I talk to you on something? Sure. And they share with me. They've shared with me in one particular instance that he didn't feel well. And I told him, you shouldn't have come to work. We've talked about this. Don't you remember when I was jumping around? People laughing? I wasn't being a clown. I'm just trying to get your attention. And still it wasn't enough. Now, am I being clear for everybody here? The information I'm giving to you, I hope you pass it on to your children. Because what I'm seeing too is, in some cases, the workers, they really want to be healthy. They like having a job. There's millions of people with no work right now. Millions. 50, 60 million. I got a job because of you guys today. Thank you. But what good is it for me to follow the rules as I come to Myers Mixer? But in my house, my kids and family members are doing whatever they want. What good is it to follow the rules at work, but at home, you don't do the same rule? What good is that? JD, pick somebody. Where is it? Who? Where's Ronnie? Ronnie, what good is it? None. None, huh? That's what I've come to too. I've come to the same conclusion, so I'm starting to do the same thing in my own house. I've got some neighbors that like to come over. They're still more than welcome to come over, but they just can't walk in anymore like the old days. They gotta leave shoes outside. When they come in, go straight to the restroom and wash their hands. When we're sitting apart, wearing a mask. With my family, no mask. But somebody who comes in, they'll go through a few steps in order to gain entrance. And then the distance and the mask. JD, pick somebody.
Ronnie.
Gloria? Gloria, do you think I'm out of line at home? It sounds weird though, huh? Kind of different. You imagine how I feel. It's weird, but I'm at a point where I understand what good is it for me to be so safe when I go to work. But when I'm home, I'm not following the same guideline. Just because I'm home, the virus doesn't go inside. It has no respect. So I'm taking some precautions I want you to consider. Any questions on the symptoms and on the reporting? If you don't feel well, simply call the supervisor. Anybody, any question? No question? I'm going to move to the next subject, okay?